Welcome to the 2025 Neighborhood Improvement Grant tutorial available for the Engage website. This is where we're going to be doing all application submissions for 2025. So we thought it'd be best to explain and walk people through this new process. In the past, we did applications in a variety of ways. We've done it online, in a hybrid form, but this year we wanted to lean in and ensure everything is done in Engage, since Engage has the capacity to make sure every application submitted is fully complete. So here is the beautiful Engage website. There are several ways that you can find the 2025 grant application, so I'll walk through those as well. On the home page, you can see open projects available for community input, one of which is the 2025 Neighborhood Improvement Grant. If you just click on this Neighborhood Improvement Grants, like little icon, you'll go straight to the grant page and see the application. But if for some reason it's not showing up on your main page, you can also go into this search bar here, and that will also allow you to find the application. So I'm actually going to show you, just for people who may have had a hard time seeing where my cursor was. This is the search bar for Engage. And then this is the little icon card you should be looking for if you want to just click on the page itself. So I'm just going to click on the 2025 Neighborhood Improvements Grant page, and I'm going to walk you through what this page actually looks like. Just as a brief overview for those of you who may be new to both Engage as a site and the grant program as a whole. So, project description: the Neighborhood Improvement Grant is designed to energize and improve the city's neighborhoods for eligible associations, i.e., an association that's within the boundaries of the city of Fort Wayne, or mostly within the boundaries of the city of Fort Wayne, and registered with the city, for a maximum grant of $5,000 for a project located in the neighborhood. And you can even click to see grantees from previous years on this hyperlink here. I'm going to the 2024 grant page. I won't click through right now, but if you click on this page, it'll take you to that last year's page. You can see last year's application, which is different than this year. We actually did make it more simple this year, but it also has a lovely project call out, so you can see what type of projects were funded last year and even also in 2023. So who's listening? Over here, we've got a little icon card of people who are involved in the project, myself and Dan Basin. You can email us. You can also reach out just via the neighborhoodgrant@cityoffortwayne.org email. So program guidelines, if you click on each one of these little plus signs, it'll actually expand and tell you more information about each of these guidances. Project examples. We have 4 main categories that we want projects to fall into, and these are very, very broad categories. You can make a lot of examples and cases for items that aren't as, I guess, that don't just jump out at you. So placemaking, yes, adding a bench to a common area is an example of placemaking. You're making a destination for people to come to, but you could even add a little free library or some sort of like adding a pavilion. That's a very clear example of placemaking, but sometimes putting in a stone like pathway to make people spend time in the common area because there's a clear guidance to that common area. That's an example of placemaking too. You're kind of identifying that this is neighborhood amenities. So you be creative with your project. And if you have questions about what falls into these guidances and these project types, you can always reach out. This is the application, so don't be afraid of it. It is simpler this year. The 2025 Neighborhood Improvement Grant application is open. When the application closes, it will say closed. So while it's open, it's open. It's open until Monday, March 24th at 5 p.m. I recommend you start sooner than Monday, March 24th. And we started out this application with a disclaimer, basically. You cannot save your progress on the application. Please, please, please take note of that. Do not try to fill out your application directly in this application. Please start and write your responses in a Word document or a text file or anything, because if you accidentally click out of this page, if your computer crashes, you will lose all your progress. And we don't want to make this a headache for you. We are sad that this is a feature that our application doesn't have, but we want to give everyone that heads up right away. So don't close this window before clicking submit, but you can review the application as many times as you want without submitting it. So it's here on the page, just scroll through it, look over the questions, take some time to think about what you need to answer, and then come back to it. That is a good thing. You can go through as many times as you need to just to look over the application because it's publicly available, but you can't actually submit it, or you can't start it until you're really ready to finish it. So we tried to simplify the application by doing who, what, when, where, why, just the details of what exactly your project needs. And we'll get into the weeds once your project is fully, if it is approved. Once it's approved, we'll go through everything like contractors. Big key about your application is you will get a copy of your submissions when you submit it. And what I mean by that is, so you submit your application to us at the city. The email that you provided us as your contact email in the application itself will also receive a full list of your responses, all the files you attached. That way you can know for sure that your application was complete. If you don't get that actual document to your email, check your spam folder, check your junk folder. If for some reason you still don't know where it is, or you still don't see it, it may not have gone through, which is terrible, but that's why you wrote your answers in another document, so you didn't lose everything. You just have to possibly copy and paste it over. And if you do think that you want to double check that we did receive it, because you're just not sure it didn't come through to your email, that confirmation, email us here at neighborhoodgrant@cityofortwayne.org, and we will verify that we did receive it. Each response in the application is graded on completeness, originality, clarity level, detail, and evidence. Any question with an insufficient response may result in a 0. It may result in partial points. So please answer this with thoughtfulness and care. We want to make sure that we understand why you love your project idea, and it helps us if we have good responses to use to guide our grading of the application. So unless otherwise indicated, each question on the application has a word count and a word limit for the corresponding response. This is also where it's really helpful to write your responses first in a Word document. It's very easy for you then to monitor the word count. So first question of the application is super easy. It's just checking this box to say that you have read and understand the key facts outlined above, making sure you know these key items, and that will hopefully save every one of us a big headache in the long run. Next question, very easy points here. Total points available, 2 points for this section. The full application has 50 points available. Neighborhood information, write in your neighborhood name. I'm just going to write test because this is a test application and I want to make sure it doesn't accidentally get scored. Project contact person, going to just put in my information, the city of Fort Wayne, contact phone number, name of association president. I'm going to say Dan because he is the head of the neighborhood, Department of Neighborhoods. Letter of support or signature of approval by neighborhood association president. These are your easy 2 points. If you submit a file that is the appropriate response that we asked for, I'm just going to put in a document. I'm going to put in this lovely image of one of the neighborhood grants. If you put in an image of a neighborhood grant instead of a document that's actually a letter of support from your neighborhood, that's how you might miss 2 easy points. And as you can see here, you can attach multiple files if you need to. So say your president wrote a really detailed letter of support, you have to attach it as 2 different documents, you can. You can attach multiple documents, but you can see right here, I have that file attached. Like I said, this is a test application. I'm not attaching a letter of support. I'm just attaching a random photo. If I wanted to change which document I was attaching and I wanted to attach a different letter, you can click on this little X over on the corner and click, see the X over here, and you can actually just click that and that will remove it from here. Remember, when you clicked on the choose file, that's where you can attach more files. So for instance, you can exit out of one file, or I can add multiple files at once. I'll show you both. 1 second. Going to click choose file again. I'm going to attach another file. So I'm going to attach this random, it's my new little baby. I'll attach this file. Okay. Oh, so I need to remove a file. So it's only going to allow you 1 file, but a size limit of 20 megabytes. So 1 file because we're only requesting 1 file. And if that becomes a hardship, I can try to change the options. So just let us know if you need some other files available. So say I want to attach this one. You can do that as well. And 20 megabytes, as you see, is a pretty big file size. We did that to make sure that if you have to use a photo attachment instead of a PDF attachment, it should still work. So next, moving on, 10 points available in this section, project background. Tell us the address or addresses of project implementation. Please be exact as you can. The reason we ask for this is sometimes people are doing a project in a common area that does not have a street address. But if you can tell me access the park from the pathway between 1204 Millbrook Pass and 1208 Millbrook Pass, that helps us understand more of where exactly your project is happening. Because I'm not the only one looking at this project. I might know what's going on, but we have scorers who are going to review your project both for how you answered your questions and also the feasibility of your actual project. And unless we know where it's happening, we can't really give you a firm answer on if it's possible. Sometimes it makes a big difference about what's encroachment spaces available, or what something is zoned, what parcels are zoned as. So just please give us detail. So I'm just going to write test again because this is a test application. Who is the legal owner of the property? Also very important. Please don't submit a project on a parcel that's a privately owned parcel unless you have the permission of the owner to do the project. Please, 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 please. We don't want to see a project get approved and funded that isn't possible because the owner doesn't know that they've been asked to do this, because they haven't been asked to do it. You haven't even included them in the conversation. So make sure you're involving whoever is the owner of the property before you even submit the application. What category does or categories do your grant fit into? So you can fit into multiple categories, you can fit into one category. So I'm going to say I'm doing 2 different things in my hypothetical grant. And then brief project description. So like I said, this is a sample grant for you just to show you how to do the form. Let's say my project for placemaking and transit improvements, I want to do a crosswalk with a bench and little free library, right? And a pavilion. So I'm doing like a couple different things, and those aren't necessarily co-located at the same location. That's totally fine. You can do multiple elements of or multiple items that will benefit your neighborhood in the same application, even if they aren't directly related. For instance, some neighborhoods will spend part of their 5,000 on beautification throughout the neighborhood with planting trees, but then they have a very specific common area improvement that they want to make as well. That's a more either improving maybe an existing play structure or adding a buddy bench to encourage people to meet their neighbors, or maybe they're also needing to add a couple of lights in their common area or improving mailboxes, you name it, but just write out a very brief description here. I don't want a book, I just want the meat of your project. And attach all the information and materials that illustrate the project scope, designs, and specifications. You can grab photos off the internet for this. You can grab photos from your Pinterest board. You can have a design maybe that a company had created for you a couple of years back, but then you didn't have funds to complete the project. Just give us your vision for the project. And that's why we make it such a small word count for when you're describing the project. We want you to really show us the project. So I'm going to go in again, just to choose the file. Just going to do a random file again. Add that to, and you can confirm here. So it uploads and then it's there available on the application. So now we're moving, next section, neighborhood benefit and engagement. As you can see, 28 points available. This is a heavy hitter. You really want to see that this project does benefit your community and that your community is in support of it. So please go ham. Explain. Tell us why this matters. You get 200 words here, 250 words here. So describe why is this project important to your neighborhood? How does it benefit your community? How is this going to change quality of life for residents? What makes it exciting? What makes this impact people even outside your neighborhood? And then what engagement did you do to get feedback from people? Was this just the board talking? Was this a flyering campaign? Did you text people? Did you call? Did you have an email chain, Facebook posts, surveys? Just explain what you did and then attach the proof that you did it. That's this attachment section. We want to see how you contacted your neighbors and what they said. And this will lose you 5 points if you do not submit everything. And it also may lose some points in your engagement section if we can't see proof that you did it. So please show us the proof. If you have questions about what could substantiate your claims of engagement, what constitutes proof, reach out. But whatever you did, just take photos of that or scan it and use that as your attachment here. And this allows 10 files. So please share. What means will you use to notify your neighborhood of your grant project and its progress? We don't want you to be one and done. You got the feedback and now you're doing the project. We want to make sure you're reporting back to people to say, hey, you gave us feedback. Here's what we did with it. Because that creates this wonderful feedback loop where people realize their voice matters. Then they keep saying what they care about. And hopefully soon they end up on the board and you've got a wonderfully engaged neighborhood association. That is the goal. So you just random say I did a neighborhood meeting, I did a special meeting, I did some flyering. You can say the sky's the limit. You could also submit something else. One neighborhood last year did a focus group. That was crazy above and beyond what we expect, but that's also totally relevant and a great thing to specify here. Provide a copy of the association's bylaws, constitution, and organizational documents showing the association's authority to submit this application. We just want to know that you are who you say you are, that you actually are part of a functional neighborhood association, not a defunct one, not a random person, just out of the good of their heart trying to do this application. We appreciate that, but we want to make sure that this was part of a democratic process. So please submit your bylaws in full if you can. If the file is too large or you're having issues, just reach out. And will the association provide, or will this project provide the association opportunities to partner with other groups? This is just a 2-point question. We're trying to see how big the impact is of these grants, even beyond just affecting the quality of life of the direct residents. So this question kind of helps with that. We love to see larger transformative grants that are, impacting other people than just the specific residents, because, you're seeing how money has a multiplier effect. It doesn't just affect immediate people, it affects all these other groups. And really, it shows me when I'm reading this question that you thought deeply about your project and how your project could have a lot of impact. So, one neighborhood, for instance, said, hey, we want to improve this parklet. It's right off of a trail, and we know that it's used by people coming off of the trail, not just our neighbors. That's a wonderful example of thinking bigger and trying to benefit and bless people, even those who aren't directly paying dues. We're all residents of a larger community, the city of Fort Wayne, and if we can make our money go to support other people, why not? Project budget, 10 points available here. This section is one where the points aren't called out directly of how you're gaining points, but I did that because some people will complete this section in full and get full points, and they only have like 2 items to describe and explain. For instance, I'm doing a sign renovation project. It is going to cost $10,000. Okay, but they also made sure we're going to need a sign permit from the Department of Zoning. This is the type of permit, these are the costs. And then they go through and explain our $10,000 project. We will be supporting with a donation from a couple of our board members, plus a donation from a local business. Check this box if you have funds to complete the project without the grant. Check this box if you confirm you understand the statement. Upon approval of the application and award of the program grant, our association shall attempt to obtain 3 bids for all materials and services included in the project. The lowest and most responsive bid must be selected, no exceptions. Those are super important key things to note. And I emphasize attempt to obtain 3 bids because if you are doing a super specialized project and there aren't people in the area who can bid on it, just reach out to people who are in similar fields and get a bid, but we will have to discount that bid as part of the process since it's not a responsive bid. It's not even the similar project. So we have to see the attempts for 3 bids for every project. We do have to choose the lowest and most responsive bid. The most responsive is where we can have a little wiggle room if you have a very specific project need. And then our acknowledgements and representations. So all statements and information in this application are true and correct. I'm not going to read through all these, but please do read this. It does kind of state some details. Again, the 3 arm's length bids for the lowest and most responsive bid. That the payment, the city is not liable to the association or anything related to this. Basically, we're giving you this grant as a one-time gift for a product or service that will benefit your community. But after we have given it to you, it is yours. You need to find a way to maintain it and secure it and insure it if necessary. So the award of the grant program is upon the review by all different departments and divisions. Like I said, we don't just have this review by me. I'm not the only reviewer. I don't actually review. I'm the person who helps you with the application and the implementation. But we have an independent review team who will go through the applications, score them, average them, and then we have the team of people involved in the different permitting departments like traffic engineering and the Department of Planning Services who will go through and make sure your project is actually feasible. Can it actually happen? All approvals and permits are required by the association and the project real estate owner. So you have to go out and get those. We don't get those on your behalf. We can assist if you need help. The payment of the grants can be on completion of the project or completion of the project phase with the submission of all required documentation. And We do need to see all changes to the project. They have to receive prior written notice to us at the city, or else it could void your grant amount. So all this to say, please, please, please read through these acknowledgements because they have key details and important information. And once you read them, if you have questions, again, reach out. Then type your signature to confirm that you're the person helping as the project manager. And you can click submit, and then it will submit. Except, I didn't fill out some of these sections. I wanted to show you what happens. If you forgot to fill out a section or you missed a checkbox, it'll come up in red and tell you, hey, this is required. You need to complete this. So I'm going to say, describe why this is important. It will beautify. Remember, we were doing a sample example project of just adding a bench and a pavilion and a crosswalk. It will beautify the neighborhood and improve safety. The crosswalk will improve safety. Again, write more. This is just a sample. Please write more. Engagement with neighbors. How are we going to engage the neighbors? How did we? We did a survey and a Facebook post and a special meeting and a regular meeting. Then I'm attaching the file. Again, I'm choosing random file. You please choose a real file. And then, because I selected the other, I have to specify in that other section. If I uncheck other, this is a completely fine answer. If I check this other response, I have to write in something here. Just so you know, this is one of the common pitfalls or points of frustration. Copy of association bylaws. I didn't submit anything. Oh no, got to find something. So again, I'm just going to select a random invoice. And then will the project provide the association opportunities? You can say no. So if the answer is no, it will not provide opportunities to support other groups or partner with other associations or group people in the community. Just say no. If the answer is yes, though, write out how would you partner with other organizations or maybe a local church or a local school? How could it benefit them? Identify that there, or like I said, say no. What are the permits involved with this project? So I want to do a crosswalk. So I have to go through the artistic crosswalk program, which requires the public art approval. Public art, God, I forget if it's a commission or a committee. I'm going to say commission. Forgive me, that's terribly spelled. Approval. Okay. And list estimated cost. I don't think there's any cost, so I'm just going to put 0. Project item description. Because I don't think there's a permit cost. That's what to say. So first thing I'm going to say, I'm going to do that crosswalk. Going to take $1,000 in paint. Paint is so much more expensive than you think. I'm going to do that pavilion I mentioned. That's going to be like $1,200. This is a really cheap pavilion. Then we said we were going to do a bench. Bench will be $500. Then we were going to do, what else did I say? Scroll back up. Crosswalk with bench, little free library and pavilion. Okay, the little free library. Scrolling back down, little free library. And you can ask for reimbursement of just material costs. Say you're really handy in your neighborhood and you guys can build it yourself. That's totally fine. We just can't pay you for your own labor, if that makes sense. We can have you do all the work and we can pay for all your materials. We just can't pay you directly for your labor. So little free library, say that's $300 in cost. Now I have to go down and total the project cost. So I did some semi-easy math. So 0 for the permit, 1,200, so that's 2,200 plus 5 plus 3, so 2,200 plus 5 is 2,700 plus 3 is 3,000. I hope that math was correct. I believe that was correct. 3,000, and then total grant requests, I'm going to request 3,000 because you can request up to 5,000. My project is not more than 5,000, so I don't need to explain where the funds are coming from. And I can do this project if I have the funds. We have the funds already in the bank, but we really would rather use the grant program if we can. This is a new question on the application, and part of it is we're trying to track just how transformative this grant program is. How many projects just wouldn't happen if this grant program didn't exist? Or how many would the neighborhood be able to do, but it would be really tight for the rest of their budget? And even if you have funds in your bank account as a neighborhood association, but they're earmarked for a large capital expense that you know you're going to have to take care of. For example, condo association reached out. They're like, technically we have money in the bank, but it's specifically for our required painting that we have to do every year, every 5 years. We have to repaint the whole building. That's not really free funds to do this project then, is it? That's actually earmarked funds for a specific expense. And if you were to take those funds and use it for this, it might actually be showing you're being irresponsible with the funds that you've been given. So you know that your financial situation as a neighborhood association, you can make the call of if you have the funds to complete this project. We're not going to require you to show bank statements as a part of this application unless you're telling us that you have a project over 5,000. When we go through and we approve your project, we'll just need to see a bank statement to confirm that you do have the funds to provide the other half of it, or some sort of documentation from your additional funder, maybe a neighborhood resident who's going to cover the additional costs, or maybe a local business, like I said, just some documentation to show that this project will actually happen. So now I'm going to submit. Oh, thank you for your submission. Okay, it's submitted. Great. Now, what does that look like on the back end? I should be getting an email to confirm that I did submit my application. So I sent it to my work email account. I'm going to get that pulled up in the screen and show you guys. So give it a second for it to load. And I should be able to show you exactly what that example like test, or what you should be looking for / receive when you do your application submission. It's not coming in. I'm going to check my junk mail. Did not go to my junk. It is just being a very slow day. Give me 1 second. I did also do this once before. So in lieu of making you wait, I'm just going to pull up my first test email and show you that. Okay. Let me get it. Ah, it just came through. Ha ha ha. Okay. Forgive the city's very slow internet. Okay. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you are an applicant, because I also, as the organizer, receive a second form. So to pull this over. This is what my email says. It'll be from Engage Fort Wayne 2025 Neighborhood Improvement Grant Application. Thank you for your submission of the form. Thank you for your application. We will review your application after the application window closes, give you notice in April of our final decision. Thank you for all your work on behalf of your neighborhood. We do mean that from the bottom of our heart. Thank you. This is extra work for all of you, and we really do value your support and involvement in our community. And look, all of the things that we filled out are here, and you can click on each one of these links to make sure that you did actually submit exactly what you intended to submit. So remember, I threw up random things. One of these was a neighborhood newsletter. So I'm pulling over again. It'll open in a new window exactly what your document was. So you can double check that you submitted what you thought you did. So example, all these questions that we filled out, you'll get all those responses so you can feel comfortable and confident in what you shared. Again, all of these items are available, the costs, the descriptions, and then, yes, I am project manager. Please submit your full name. For this, I just wrote my first name, but we would appreciate if it is your first and last. So there you have it. That is how to submit an application with the new Engage platform. And I think we did it in under 30 minutes. So I guess it will be a little bit harder when you're actually filling out the questions and meaningfully responding. But I just want to show you this is a very easy application. We tried to make it simpler for you. We appreciate you and want to be respectful of your time as volunteers. And if you have any questions about the timeline of the program, it's all available as well on this application and on the Engage page, rather. So we're going to do another presentation about this on March 3rd at Citizens Square in in the basement, room 35, which is the City Council chambers for the Neighborhood Presidents meeting. So if you have additional questions, bring them that night. Applications are due Monday, March 24th. We'll review, we'll announce, and then if you are selected, you will have until December 1st to do your application. I will also be adding another section on this Engage page with grantee resources, so you can kind of start prepping if you are approved of what does a bid sheet look like, how do you easily compare different estimates from different contractors, and just some other resources. So please keep checking this page. It will make things very simple for you on every part of your application journey, from being an applicant to being a grantee, and hopefully making some wonderful improvements to your neighborhood. So thank you so much for watching this video. Again, reach out if you have any questions, and look forward to seeing all the great work you do for your neighborhood. Thank you. Bye.